Welcome everyone. Myself and Sarah wanted to talk to you about some tips to care for yourself through this Christmas period. As we all know, Christmas can be a really difficult time. So we wanted to talk to you about some of those difficulties that you may face and the emotions that Christmas time can bring. So some of those challenges that we face, Christmas can prompt those memories, whether those be good or bad. And we recall them each year as Christmas does draw near. The memories of Christmases gone by can be quite overwhelming and often send us into a tailspin of renewed grief. Whatever your particular circumstances, remember that you are grieving and that you need to pace yourself and be gentle with yourself. It can be very normal to feel low and emotional at Christmas. This could be the first Christmas without somebody, and perhaps the person you've lost was that person who would decorate the tree or make that Christmas pudding or look after some of the special Christmas job. You might really miss them when those traditions come around. We often feel pressure from family members or friends to try and conform at Christmas and to stay positive and join in with those festivities. It's not a bad thing to feel resentful of happiness at Christmas. Being surrounded by joy and celebration for such long periods can be difficult and can actually lead to feelings of isolation and sometimes loneliness. So be kind to yourself and don't worry about the feelings that you may have towards others. This is normal and it's a really difficult time. Some days grief can feel very overwhelming and you're not sure how you're going to get through. Other days you may feel that you're actually coping better. Remember that these feelings of being very overwhelmed are natural and that it's okay. The journey of grief can differ hour by hour, so it's really important to remember to be kind to yourself at this difficult time. So we often describe grief coming in waves, and that sometimes those waves can feel very big and overwhelming, whereas sometimes those waves can be calmer and we can feel a little bit more in control. So top tips, as we say, to look after yourself at Christmas. What do you feel you can cope with at this present time? Do you already know maybe that some situations could be a little bit too overwhelming? And it is okay at times to say no, but we will touch on this a little bit later. Sometimes people find that working out in advance a plan around Christmas and what will suit your needs and your feelings can actually really, really help. So considering different ways of celebrating. Is it too painful to celebrate or maybe not the right time for you right now? However, you may actually wish to make a special effort around Christmas if you feel that your loved one would have really enjoyed the festive period. And it may be a way to help you feel connected to that person who is no longer here. It's actually okay to create a whole new tradition around Christmas and the different ways of celebrating. So a new tradition may mean that you're actually spending Christmas quite differently this year. Sometimes those physical things that we can do to remember somebody and feel close to them. So that could be a trip to the cemetery, maybe lighting a candle for that person or sitting with old photographs. These can all be physical ways of remembering somebody. It can actually bring family members together to celebrate the life and the love of the memories of those that we've lost. These are also things that you can do alone to remember those who are missed. Accepting that we're all different, that we all have different ways of mourning. Family members are mourning the same person, but we all have a unique relationship with our loved one. Others may express grief differently or away from others. Some may shed tears and others may actually grieve silently. This can sometimes be really difficult to understand. We may have expectations of ourselves or what others may think or feel. Try to be sensitive to others. Remember that grief and our ways of expressing that grief are actually different for everybody. But most importantly, remember to be kind to yourself. If you can, try and communicate with those around you about what feels right for you. So try to maintain a routine. So the Christmas period can disrupt our daily routine. And sometimes this can be a really daunting prospect. So again, as we talked about, try to plan ahead if possible. So we all have our own daily routines. Easily it can be disrupted around that festive period. So remember to rest also and make sure that you're taking time to eat and drink. Sometimes we can be so overwhelmed with everything that's happening around us. We can often forget to look after those simple things that we need. So meeting up with friends and family can help as well, even with any restrictions in place. As we know at this time of year, we can meet others outdoors for a walk. We can meet friends and family to share those memories together. And spending time outside. Studies actually show that walking outside is strongly linked to lowering depression and stress levels. So also improving our quality of sleep. It could be maybe going for a walk before or after lunch or dinner, meeting up with friends or family to walk the dog. It's great to get outside and get some fresh air. It can really help our mental well-being, especially at times when maybe we're feeling a little bit more sensitive or vulnerable. So doing what feels right for you. Believe it or not, it is actually okay to say no. Relatives may wish to spend time with you over the festive period, and it actually can be really difficult. So if you have a large family, you can often feel obliged to share yourself around and possibly worry about upsetting others. But remember, it's okay to say no. Recognizing what you're able to cope with and what feels right for you. Sometimes that means having an escape plan. So if you're feeling a little bit out of your comfort zone on the day, or if everything feels a little bit overwhelming, being able to leave a situation in your own time. So whether that be if you're visiting and spending time with friends or relatives, or if you're at home with people around you, sometimes it could be taking yourself away just for 5 or 10 minutes, or going out and getting some fresh air, having those few minutes on your own to gather your thoughts, and that's okay as well. And taking time to remember. So sometimes we can often feel guilty about enjoying those festivities and the times that we're spending with friends and family. And being able to share stories and memories as a family member, as a family, and recognizing that it's okay if it triggers emotions for you or for others, and that remembering that's completely normal. So it may seem silly about the idea of scheduling some time in the day for your grief, but actually allowing ourselves time in the day, whether that be when we wake or during our daily routine, to remember that person and allow those emotions and maybe those tearful periods, allowing the time to sit with those emotions. And we talked about those physical things that we can do to remember. So could that be lighting a candle or paying a trip to the cemetery at some point in the day? Having a plan to sort of do this in advance, it can help in allowing ourselves to feel joy in the day and over the festive period. So aim to focus on the present. As we said, those happy memories can often be the most painful. And as Christmas comes around, it can be quite an intensely emotional and saddening time. It's really important to remember to look after ourselves. Sometimes distance or any current restrictions in place can feel like a barrier, but actually making a telephone call Or, can you video call somebody to maybe share the meal times, or sharing that gift opening time through video call and the power of technology? Maybe that could be asking somebody in the family to help you, or a friend. Sometimes others like to feel busy over Christmas, so as a way of coping or helping to be around others, local charities are often really grateful for support, and particularly over Christmas. That can be a way of helping you connect with others as well. And definitely not being afraid to ask for help. So as you said, Christmas can be really difficult for many, many reasons. And don't be afraid to put your hand up and reach out to friends and family for support. So there are lots of organisations, not only ourselves, who can support you at this time, but the Samaritans are actually a 24-hour service. So 365 days a year, it's free to call. If you're really struggling in those moments, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. We've talked lots about self-care. So self-care is a practice of taking action to preserve or improve one's own health. And that's not just physical, obviously mental well-being as well. One thing we can do, engaging in small acts of kindness. So this self-care grief tactic is quite powerful, and it's recommended by organisations like Heal Grief. So they talk about kindness in action, and it was actually inspired by a young woman who was dealing with the loss of a parent whilst in college. So the idea behind this is create a kindness in action campaign and maybe ask others to join you. So that could be setting a goal of maybe once a day or once a week or once a month, being creative and sharing an act of kindness, and maybe inviting others to join you. So it could be tagging them in this action. And sometimes it often feels good to think that you're giving something back. So it can be something to focus on. And maybe reach out to others that are grieving, whether that be friends and family or within your local community. Often doing a simple Google search of what's in your area can really help. And petting a furry creature. So we all know a cuddle with our furry loved ones can be really therapeutic, and they really can sense our emotions, can't they? Without any words. Just something, it sparks something primal in us to release those feel-good chemicals in our brain. Sometimes people head over to the local adoption centre, not saying you need to bring one home, but spending time there, sort of petting and walking, doing something to help. It can really help at this time of year, especially if we're feeling a bit low and on our own. Maybe you could ask a friend with a dog to go for a walk, or look after them for a while, have them at home with you for some time. They really do sense our deep emotions, can often be, just sitting in their presence can be quite healing for us. And they already know how to just sit and be in those difficult times and just offer that listening ear and some love. So don't underestimate the power of a wet nose. Listening to music. And for so many, music can be really healing while grieving. Some like to just sit and listen, maybe to a sad song, and invoke those emotions and cry it out. Others prefer instrumentals, so where they can just sit and listen and let their mind wander. Others prefer to listen to a particular playlist, maybe created by the person who's passed away, as a way of remembering them, feeling closer to them, and maybe sitting and thinking of those memories that you share together. So whatever you do, just know that music is there to help you, and whether it provides a safe space to cry or laugh or remember, sometimes even letting out the anger of a situation, music can be really therapeutic. So being aware of too much alcohol. Over the festive period, we can often share a drink with the family and friends, and that's wonderful. It can be a very social aspect to bring us all together. But it is important to remember that it can actually heighten the feelings of sadness and anxiety. So not only the nausea and the headaches, but it's good to be mindful of potentially maybe the next day after indulging in alcohol. It can trigger those difficult emotions, and just to be mindful of that, maybe have a plan in place just to be mindful of how you may be feeling the next day. It can make us feel a little bit more vulnerable. So before I hand over to lovely Sarah, here are some words I thought that were really just lovely. So, those we love can never be more than a thought away. For as long as there's a memory, they live in our hearts to stay. Thank you, Sarah. Over to you.
Thank you, Nikki, for all those different ways that we can help ourselves. And you've given us many, many ideas that can give us strength and stillness and just help us get through what can be a really nice time of the year, but really difficult time of the year. I just wanted to show you this slide because who doesn't want to be all balanced and beautiful? But actually, none of us are balanced and have a pretty life all the time. So just to say, we're all in this together, although you may be facing more difficulties than us this Christmas. So next slide. I'm going to talk a little bit about mindfulness, and that's just a way of helping us to become more aware and helping us to become still and grounded, rooted and aware of our strength as well as our vulnerability, which we can feel all too easily. So mindfulness is a way of focusing our awareness, calmly acknowledging how things are, just as they are, the good, bad, and the ugly, and feeling the feelings and recognizing the thoughts and allowing ourselves to be aware of those bodily sensations, even when they're not very pleasant. Next slide. Now, who of us doesn't want to be strong and resilient? And I've used this slide just to give us an idea that some circumstances, and certainly grief, stretches us to the point where we can feel that as if we're breaking. But like good elastic bands, we humans can endure that and actually gradually come back into our more comfortable position, just like an elastic band. And resilience is just a way of experience stretching us and yet knowing that we can come back to a place of calm. And that's how we build toughness. So next slide. I'm sounding like Chris Whitty, but not as professional as he. But I want to share with you a meditation, and this meditation is specifically used to help us tune into our strength, even when we feel weak and scattered and vulnerable. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if that helps you. I'll be following a script. So I'll have my focus on my script. So this meditation is done by sitting, or you can do it indeed by standing or by lying, whatever is the best position for you and wherever you are in this moment. So just begin by sensing the chair or the cushion or the bed or the floor, and giving yourself time to actually sense what it feels like for your body to be in contact with an object. And whatever position you have assumed, just being aware of the stability that this gives you. Be aware of your upper body, maybe balanced over your hips if you're sitting, or in a line with your body if you're lying. And your shoulders, just be aware of the comfort and the support. Your hands on your lap or beside you, or your arms hanging by your side. However you are or chosen to be in this moment, just being aware of being alert. And all I'm asking you to do in this moment is to tune into your body, feeling what's present, all of these sensations that we often tune out in our busyness. So what's happening with our feet? Our legs? We're not creating sensations. If you don't feel anything, that's fine, that's normal. But you may feel where you have contact with the floor or the seat, that there are sensations. And when you're ready, if you haven't closed your eyes, allowing your eyes to close and bringing your awareness to the breath, just the actual physical sensation of the breath. See how your body responds. It might be the rise and the fall of your shoulders or your breast, your chest, or your belly. Or you may be more aware of the breath in your mouth or nostrils. Just taking time to feel each breath as it comes in and goes out. Letting the breath be however it is. We're not changing it or regulating it. It is as it is. Allowing it to flow easily and naturally with its own rhythm and pace. Begin to notice that there is a certain stillness in your body. And as you sit here with a sense of dignity and resolve or rest in whatever position you have assumed, there's a sense of being complete, whole in this very moment. You are well and fine, just as you are. Now, as you sit here, I'm going to invite you to let an image in your mind's eye come to you of a mountain, a beautiful mountain. Maybe one that you already know or have seen in pictures or would like to visit. Just give yourself time to imagine this mountain, letting it come into focus gradually. And if you can't visualize the image, try and sense this mountain. See its shape. Sense or see its lofty peaks high in the sky and this large base rooted in the bedrock of the Earth's crust. And its steep, gently sloping sides. Just notice how massive it is, how solid, how unmoving, how beautiful. I'm wondering how your mountain is. Does it have snow blanketing on its top? Does it have trees down the sides to the base? Or is there rugged granite on your sides? Are there streams or waterfalls? meadows, or lakes. Observing all its qualities. And when you're ready, imagine yourself as this mountain. Your body and the mountain in your mind's eye becomes you. You share in the massiveness and the stillness of this mountain. You become the mountain. And you have a sense of strength rooted in this place. Your head, the lofty peak, supported by the rest of your body. Your shoulders and your arms, the side of the mountain. Your buttocks and legs, the solid base. And with each breath, becoming a little more a breathing mountain, alive and vital. Sitting here in stillness, centered, grounded, and unmoving presence. Now, as you sit here, you are aware of the weather around you. You may be aware of the sun as it travels across the sky, giving light and shadows, changing your color as it moves across your surface. You may tune in to your surroundings, the streams flowing, the roar of the waterfall, animals around you, people, but you remain still. And as time passes, night follows day and day follows night. You experience the warm sun or the cool by night. You're watched over by stars until the gradual dawning of a new day. But through it all, the mountain just sits. You just sit, experiencing change in each moment, constant change, yet always being the same. You remain still as the seasons flow one into another and as the weather changes, moment by moment and day by day. In your calmness, abiding and witnessing all this change. In the summer, there is no snow in the mountains except perhaps at the very highest points. In autumn, the mountain may wear a coat of brilliant color. In winter, it might seem drab, but it has its own beauty of a blanket of snow or ice. And in spring, of course, there's hope for growth, looking to the future. And in any season, you can experience low cloud or fog or be battered by the freezing rain. And people may come to see you, experience you. They may comment on how you are, your beauty, or they may be aware of how it is difficult for you. They may be aware of the good day and the bad day, the cloud, the rain, the fog or dark, or they may delight with you in the sunshine and the warmth. But none of this matters to the mountain, which remains at all times its essential self. Clouds may come and clouds may go. People may come and be with us. They may like what they see or not. But the mountains' magnificence and beauty are not changed one bit by the weather. It just sits being itself. It is its essential self, whatever happens on the surface, throughout all the seasons. And as this short meditation comes to an end, being aware of your breath again within your body. Being aware of your body and its strength, your mind as its strength, and your spirit with its strength. And opening your eyes if you've had them closed. And just becoming aware of what is in the room with you. I think we can use that metaphor, that meditation, just to remind us that we are in change all of the time and constantly are aware of change around us. But if we come and sit and use our breath, we can actually be aware and strengthen that inner landscape that doesn't change so easily with circumstances. And even when the weather's bad and it looks dark and cloudy, as it's not hard to imagine these days as we look out, actually inside we can have a stillness and the sun can still shine. And it's a way of helping us to tune in to our strength and our stability amidst change when we feel a bit sort of wobbly. You know, the other thing to remind is that we can take it all personal when people say things to us. But actually, like that mountain, we can experience all that comes at us, the wind, snow, the rain. But actually within ourselves, we can feel stable. So let the mountain teach us something. And when you look out, if you live in the Malverns or near it, or visit a mountain, or look at photographs over the Christmas period, just take those few moments to close your eyes and become still and to recall the strength from the mountain. And to help us resolve to go through whatever is presenting itself to us. So I hope some of those thoughts will have been resonated with you, that you can carry around with you and use it anytime. And I'm going to pass back to Nikki now. And thank you ever so much, Nikki, for inviting me in to share with this webinar with you today. You need to unmute.
Is it an online video if we're not prompting each other to unmute? I think that's something to take from the year, isn't it? But thank you so much, Sarah. That was so lovely. And as you say, no matter what within this presentation, if we can take one or two things at least that will help us through what can be a really difficult period. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Please remember to be kind to yourself, and please don't be afraid to reach out if you need any support at all. And above everything, whoever you're spending time with or whatever you're doing at this period, you know, of around Christmas, we wish you a really, really peaceful Christmas. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.